Well, you guys voted, and we're going to be playing with the Teutonic Order, my friends, here under Hanuman's leadership. The initial challenge is going to be a tough one. I'm sticking to normal. If things get too easy, we can boost up difficulty. And again, I just ask that you guys support this series. Hit that like, drop a comment below right away, and subscribe if you haven't already. We need our Teutonic Knights to help us here to establish the Teutonic Order, wipe out all the pagan tribes, and unify this area once and for all. Let's jump right in, folks, and see how it goes. Our journey starts in Riga, under the army of the gods chosen, guys. We've got Schwertbrüders, we've got Ritterbrüders, the Livonian Order crossbowmen, all sorts of fascinating troops that we're going to be able to use here. And I immediately want to start recruiting units, specifically some actual combat troops here, like the Schwertbrüder, or even the Heavy Axemen. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and try to get a few of those. Over time, we do want to boost that economy, but as you can see in this particular mod, the economy is a little different, and in fact, seems to be even a little more expensive than standard Attila. Now, my first focus is going to be on the city charters. You might think it's strange for a Teutonic Order to focus on a civil aspect first, but we've got to get our people unified, and we need to get them supporting our glorious cause. Then, of course, we can worry about enemies and things of that nature. Now, as you can see, we're in an extra precarious position because we've got one king, who's a general, with one son and heir, Conrad, and he's only 6 years old. So first things first, we need to try and find a wife for our king so that we can grow a stronger Teutonic family here. I do want to go for a focus on way houses so that we start increasing the merchant class here in our little settlement. And there's going to be a lot of editing during this series, so we'll cut out a lot of the end of turn stuff to get to actual combat and to actual political decisions here. One big issue with the order being in the far north is the fact that the population is not that large. Not to mention that, of course, our Teutons, they don't just take anybody. They only take the finest in the land, the strongest warriors, and we need to be very careful here with spending with what we spend, because quite frankly, we are maxing out just to pay off our Ritterbrüder. I'm almost tempted to take them out of the army, but an interesting new unit has arrived, the Prussian Raider. This is a light skirmisher unit, but we also have these levy spearmen, and I think that actually these are going to make up, you know, a pretty decent base for our army. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase one. We'll also get one of these Prussian Raiders more because of a time issue than anything else. And then I'm going to head south, folks. That's the only way we're going to be able to tame these pagan tribes. The bad news is the Gdansk are slowly converting to Catholicism. We want to make sure to get there so that we can convert them by force and they don't figure things out on their own. In the meantime, we'll wait for those spearmen. We are currently actually in a non-aggression pact with Sweden, and I'm going to try with the diplomacy here to try just increase our overall trade capacity with Sweden. I also want to look at Denmark here. I'm not sure if we currently have a trade deal. Looks like we do. One idea here is to send some ships out, find some new areas, and of course commit trade deals with them, even with these pagan tribes around us. I mean, let's face it, we've got to make some money, and it looks like we're currently trading with everybody. I had to make sure we were because of that falling income level. Next time you see this army, it's going to be hunting some pagans. Became quite clear to me that the first target was going to have to be the Duchy of Pomerania. They're close by. I'm not even sure if they are Catholics or pagans. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference to us, boys. It's time for us to take some land in the name of the Order.
Preach peace, but when it is Christendom itself that is threatened, then it is every Christian's duty to defend all that is holy. His Holiness the Pope has called a crusade to reclaim the Holy Lands from the infidel, who would deny Christian pilgrims their right to visit the holy places. It is time for the armies of Christendom to put aside their differences and unite under one banner, the sign of the cross, and give back God's children what is rightfully theirs, or die trying.
Alright, a crusade for Cairo, which I have no interest in taking a part in. And here's why, my friends. Despite having quite a small army, only 14 really, It's not a lot to work with. We are immediately going to attack the Duchy of Pomerania, and incredibly, they are actually allied with Denmark. This could very well start a war with the Danes too, but let's face it, we've got to get in here and look at the enemies we are facing. I mean, actually breaking through here is going to be an absolute miracle. So I am going to continue this siege, hope for the absolute best. Let's hope that winter doesn't get us, and let's end the turn. I'm actually kind of hoping that the enemy will go ahead and just attack us. That would be perfect, so we get a battle outside of the castle, and we actually what the Teutonic Order is like in a fight. Again, we don't have many men, but the men we do have, most of them anyway, are heavily armed. And unfortunately, the Swedes don't like that act of aggression. They've just broken our non-aggression pact. Remember, these guys are supposed to be like our staunchest supporters, our staunchest allies. So if they are not on our side, we do have a bit of a problem. And look at that, my friends. It's bringing a tear to my Teutonic eyes. Looks like we're gonna have to fight this battle out in the open. Let's go!
Ready for orders. We will hold this position, even if every night-spawned monster the Lord ever put on Earth. Enemy reinforcements approaching. We will hold, but today we face only men, and not particularly dangerous men at that. Ready yourselves.
Alright, boys, let's see if we can't draw first blood here. If anybody's noticed, I've taken away unit flags for this campaign, so we have a true medieval look here. There's not going to be any silly flags popping up. Let's hope we can keep an eye on our men and really know exactly where they're going to be at all times. I see no reason to move into place here at any particular position. We're going to hold out. They do have reinforcements on the way, and I must admit, quite some devastating looking forces here. So let's hope that we come out on top in this fight, guys. I'd really like to have a victory and not have to end this campaign extremely prematurely. Enemy reinforcements. It begins. Onwards with the knights. I could have put him actually in a diamond formation here. Probably a better idea. Wedge formation, I should say. But that's okay for an initial attack. Let's go ahead and hit that cavalry. I'll let their infantry get as close as they'd like. And eventually, of course, we will go ahead and head out. In fact, let's slow down. And I am going to take on the infantry, boys. Gotta show some ferocity here if we want to get a victory. Quite a few of additional enemy cavalry units mounting up there on the right side. I might actually send in our king. Well, can we call him our king? I think our Grand Master, Hermann, here. So far, our boys are taking the enemy on. Let's get back to the fight. Knock them down, knock them down. There we go. Let's get them away. In fact, we can go ahead and rush the crossbow cavalry. Our general is under attack. Yeah, of course, that's going to happen. That's okay. Let's use the general here to actually smash into the Polish knights. Hermann. Sorry, boys. It doesn't make a difference if they're also Christians. We're all about power and glory right here, and it looks like we actually got an early attack on the king's bodyguard of the enemy. I'm not so sure our men are going to be able to take this guy out. He's got some very strong units, but it might be worth an attempt. What I'd really like to do is get some of our cavalry behind the enemy. Get in there, boys. A lot of enemy cavalry, unfortunately, in this fight that we're going to have to deal with. So I'm going to quickly get behind the enemy here, try to get a quick flank attack. Come on now, boys. Now or never. We'll actually just go ahead and immediately take this unit. Head back and start hitting those Polish knights. And with our general, I'm going to do the flank attack. Here we go. We'll do the same with these gentlemen here. Yes! It's all coming together now. Sean Connery has joined the chat. Oh, come on, get these... There's a lot of enemy knights, obviously, all around us here. We've got some of our cavalry back. Let's rush them back into the fray here. And smash into the enemy's backside. That's right, I said it. Here we go. It's not a fucking vanilla channel. Don't you think I'm not gonna get blue? I can get blue. I can get blue. I'm just a nice boy. Here we go, guys. We're attacking Kashmir. So that is the king. That is the king, sure enough. If we can cut him down, I mean, this is a pretty big win if we can cut him down. But, of course, we've got the rest of the enemy army incoming. Our boys have just done an incredible job. I'm going to send some of our men to go ahead and flank the medium shock infantry here. Look at those glorious Teutonic knights. This is the kind of fighting I paid for, boys. And there we go. We just killed King Kashmir. That's going to have to hurt the enemy quite a bit and hopefully lead to our victory. All right, boys and girls. Let's see what's going on here. Kind of want to restructure our forces because I have to admit that this more realistic perspective is a lot harder to pay attention to. So if you guys think I should go to the unit markers, then let me know. In fact, for the end of this battle, what I'll do is I'll put on the unit markers. And then in the comments, if you guys have made it this far, every single one of you that has made it this far, let me know which you prefer, and be honest, okay? Here we go, folks. Preparing for the second attack. Looks pretty good so far, and if that's all the enemy has, then I feel fairly confident here in our potential victory. I think our cavalry really won the day, and I have to say, you know, I typically go for armies that are like levy heavy, spearman heavy, or archer heavy sort of thing. For instance, the Swedish army is full of archers. Oh, ambush! The Swedish army is full of archers, things like that. So that's what I typically go for, and this is one of those factions that is just, again, heavily reliant on cavalry. So we'll have to see how that works out. I can't wait to see myself, but we still got a lot of enemies left to kill. I was thinking, I was like, where is the rest of their army? I'm sure they had more than that. Go, boys! Yeah, we're ready. Even our Schwerbruders are pretty amazing fighters here. And the, I don't know how to say that, but the Fuznik sounds like a bad word. These shock cavalry, or shock infantry, pardon me, are amazing. So we're getting them in here, trying to take on the enemy. Look at that. That's what I like to see, folks. Looks like we got those, we got these, we've run them down almost instantly. I mean, just the actual pure fury of our forces. And I guess this is what makes the Teutonic Knights such formidable enemies. It's amazing. We break them so quickly with these charges. Our Schwertbruder, our cavalry, etc. So now I'm actually going to bring in the cavalry to run down the rest of the enemy army. And keep in mind that since this is, you know, of course, a siege, or the precursors to a siege, I am absolutely going to have to try to kill as many of these guys as possible. We can't let anybody escape. Very sorry. Hopefully our cavalry can mostly take care of all of those archers off in the distance. There's still a lot of missile cavalry as well that's going to be a problem. There we go, boys. Dealing with the Danes after this is going to be an interesting issue, especially since we've got pagans to our southeast who really intend and want to cause us harm, just as much as we want to cause them harm, let's be honest. But that's something that I'm definitely worried about, is since we're away from our capital, if we take this city, we're going to have to hold it off against the Danes and the pagans. I'm not so sure that's a task that we're going to be able to handle, but if anybody can handle it, it's going to be the mighty Teutonic Knights. I mean, we are just kicking ass here, guys. So happy our men actually did manage to win this fight, especially with the odds so heavily against us. We did almost fall for an ambush there towards the end that could have finished us off, but just managed to delay it long enough. Yeah, There's a bunch of enemies there that are escaping Levy Spearmen. Again, not something that makes me happy, but not too much we can do about that. We really do need to go after the archers, etc. I'll even bring Hedemon in for this. In fact, he's going after the missile units. There we go. That's right. No mercy. I have to say, though, those other archers, or crossbowmen, are doing pretty well, so I'll get the cavalry on those other guys here, but I'm going to send the infantry after them. The flank attack seems to work wonders, so in fact, I'll just go ahead and send everybody in, cut them down. But I have to say, the mercenary crossbowmen, the sergeant crossbowmen, are pretty good, even in a sort of, you know, close combat situation. Kill them. See how the rest of this is going. I think we've knocked off the cavalry. So I'm actually going to send our general after those sergeant spearmen. Actually, they're just standard levy spearmen nonetheless. I want to knock them down. And what's this? Still some sergeants that we have to deal with. Alright, let's go back and focus on them. Our army is going to be beat up after this. We really need to be able to also recuperate with these cavalry units. There we go. The victory is ours. The enemy has seen reason. And I'm really proud of that. I want to see how those crossbows work. Oh, is that how they work? Oh, so these are light skirmisher units. These are the Prussian raiders. Kind of wanted to see their handiwork, but we didn't get a chance. Nonetheless, I'm going to have to accept that victory. Again, though, trying to run down as many enemy troops as possible. Over here, look at those lines. We can't allow that to get away. Now, for your guys' sake, I am going to fast forward there. But yeah, I definitely want to try to get these guys. Just look at the carnage, folks. Just look at the carnage. Absolute insanity. Many brave Teutonic knights have died today. Don't really care to speak about the enemy, because again, we're Teutons. It doesn't really matter. But let's run down these peasants, and there we go. That's what I like to see. Some peasant killing does a Teutonic knight good. And we've got an entire line there. We can go ahead and finish off the rest. See, I was merciful. I did leave a couple of them alive. Kinda, if you think about it. There we go, folks. Alright. First blood for us. A Pyrrhic victory. Heavy, so armor heavy, so... And I'm not sure how that's going to pan out in our campaign, to say the least. But I'll tell you this. I believe that we're going to have to actually sack this city. I don't think we can simply just occupy it. I will take on warriors. Then again, we could use the money, but let's actually give these guys a chance to join the Holy Brotherhood of the Teutonic Order. And let's take Gdansk once and for all. Here we go, folks. We can auto-resolve this one. Hedemon getting into the city there. And man... You know what? God has told me we shall simply occupy. We're just going to occupy these guys. I hope it was the right decision. Showing some mercy to the people of Gdansk so that they will actually, you know, support us in the future. We can go ahead and repair all this stuff. And actually, thankfully, none of these buildings need to be converted. They're already kind of our, you know, they're part of our cultural type, essentially, the Baltic cultural type. But something that's concerning me, a little frightening, really, is that our home region is getting a lot of pagan influence here. It's about time that we recruit a force here. Not an agent, although we should consider that in time. And I'm going to get Amalric here. He's a defender, which I think is perfect Absolutely perfect for this situation. So, of course, get him into the city. Hopefully he can calm the people down a bit. But as you can see, that is going to cost us. So we will immediately get a governor here at Pomerania and hopefully start generating some profits. In fact, I'm even tempted, and I think I'm going to do it, to go ahead and get the bureaucrat boost on Hermann. I wanted to make him a pure warrior, guys, but let's face it, we need as much economic help as we can get. And we're going to let our army sit here and hopefully recuperate. We really do need the help. It looks like we can also get some additional units, some skirmisher cavalry, some Samlander swordsmen. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think we should get. So many options here, and I'm just loving this campaign. If you guys are loving it as much as I am, you know what you got to do. Please support me. The best way to do that is to like and comment, and I mean everybody like and comment. Thanks so much, folks. See you in the next episode, hopefully.